Hello, my name is Odumeleng. I'm an author and a thought leader in education leadership and the socio-economic environment. What I do want us to talk about is Black excellence and how it is not mythical. You see, it's very important that I demystify the citizenship of Black excellence so that the matter is clear, simple, and easy to understand. You see, openly discussing the subject in perpetuity poses the risk of reducing it from being reality to mere aspiration, even decades after the concept has gained traction. So, just to lay the basis for my argument, in 2021, I attended a Black empowerment workshop for African leaders with Black excellence as a theme. Now, I felt the sensation of sour grapes when the facilitator, in the choice of words in his opening remarks, seemingly misled an enthused audience when he made the following statement, open quotation, we need to start cultivating Black excellence, close quotation. So I was flabbergasted, not only because this was a fellow Black man, but because he chose to be an accomplice to a narrative which has encased and condemned African leaders to dream states. So it was very obvious why I disengaged and left the seminar. And my reason is simple. I'm not going to be part of conversations regarding how to cultivate Black excellence, when what we should be doing is acknowledging that it exists so we can recognize it in all its forms and across industries. So Black excellence exists, full stop. So I'm demystifying Black excellence because it has to be done. Now think about it. Have you ever heard open discussions around white, colored, Indian, or Chinese excellence, for example? Because I certainly have not. Because these ethnicities have a strong sense of self-concept and collective identity. But moreover, they are united, which is noteworthy for the rest of my argument. Now, just a footnote for my fellow African people. Have you noticed that the things that are meant to unite us tend to separate us even further? For example, individual success does not translate to collective success. Now, context says I should not point fingers at you, but I should try to do better. So I'm going to blame the manufacturing of historic lack and disadvantage and the perfect timing of concepts like Black excellence at a unique moment in history when our pockets were short of means of production. Now, before I move on from historic lack and disadvantage and how it suffocates Black excellence, I put it to you that we would have to apply a different mindset to the merits and demerits of our heritage. Now, when it comes to the merits, we would have to argue that the past makes us who we are. But when it comes to the demerits, we would then have to argue that the past shows us who we were and how far we have come. Because if we are going to use historic lack and disadvantage as the basis for our participation in the mainstream of the economy, we will see manifestations of greed, division, and corruption. But if we harness compassion, we will be united and relentless in pursuing common ideals. In diverse environments, a march through my experiences speaks of Black actualisation as a difficult terrain to traverse, with a multiplicity of perceptual barriers to negotiate. People have to come to terms with the fact that you're seated at the table, and directly above you is a magnifying glass before your eyes can catch a view of the ceiling. But those who know could relate that your terms of membership are often waived before you, pushing you to continuously prove yourself so you can be deemed good enough. So what do? We build equity and we build ourselves, because the revolving debt of Black actualisation does not get written off. In fact, it climbs to capacity the higher up you go. But what if I tell you there's opportunity to create advantage for yourself in such situations, where you can build an arsenal of skills, knowledge, and expertise that far exceeds what mediocrity could defend, and that no one can take away from you? I'll share a story of something I experienced some years ago at the office as a senior manager. I was on my way to make coffee when a white lady stopped me for a brief chat. Now, in the middle of our conversation, I realized a sense of empuzzlement and sense-making at the corner of her eyes. Now, when our conversation had naturally dissolved, she decided to throw the cat amongst the pigeons and made a statement followed by a very outrageous question. Open quotation, you speak so well. Were you adopted? Close quotation. Now, I was impaled with shock at what her mentality had revealed. Suggestively, her assertion was that I could only communicate the way I could if and only if I was offered an alternative childhood. Now, this was a direct insult at my parents and my concerted childhood or ghetto upbringing. But what it showed me is that she ascribed excellence to Eurocentric norms. You see, in diverse environments, Black excellence is like a black swan event. It is a rare occurrence, it's unpredictable with a massive impact, and often inappropriately rationalized. Now, whichever way it is rationalized does no longer concern you, because you are in any case seen as an outlier that defies traditional forecasting. But safe to say, your elastic limits now recognize painful and disappointing experiences as opportunities to grow in real time. The beauty of excellence and its inherent energy means that it cannot survive in pockets. And with every growing experience, you are being positioned to thrive in both local and global contexts. In closing, role modeling remains an essential part to the visibility of Black excellence. Chimamanda Adichie, an excellent thought leader and Nigerian writer, speaks about the danger of a single story. But what's important and relevant for my argument is the point that she makes on representation, where she posits that if you want to take away or dispossess from a people, you paint them as one thing and nothing else. We are also everything that the world needs.